Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Coaxum Report. This is Terry Coaxum, and I am your host. And today I am being joined by Victoria Folk, a phenomenal small business owner. Victoria, how are you?
Awesome. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on the Coaxum Report, Victoria. So this report is you can watch us live on our TV.network. Those that are just tuning in, they can also catch us on Amazon Fire TV, on Android TV, on Roku, and simultaneously we're being broadcast on WSTX Bloomberg on the radio. So they can listen to us and they can watch us throughout the world. So it is truly a pleasure to have you on. And I know that delights your soul because you're passionate about travel. So talk to us a little bit.
Yes, I am.
Talk to us about who you are. Talk to us about how did you get into the field you're in, and then we're going to jump right in talking about some of the barriers in small business, some best practices, and of course, I'm all about solutions. We're going to talk about some big ideas. So tell me about Passionate Travel.
Yes, so I am award-winning CEO of Passionate Travel Incorporated and global business trainer, and I'm a former social worker. And I tell everybody, yes, it is an accidental blessing. I say accidental blessing because if you know the problems that we have out here in New York, see, when I started my business, I wasn't really thinking about the awesomeness of business. I was thinking that I needed to relieve myself from the stress of being a social worker. The doctor had told me that my job was killing me.
Wow.
So yes. And let me tell you folks, you only need to hear that one time. One time.
Absolutely.
So I planned the first trip just to relieve the stress and to get healthy. And when I called to plan that trip, I was asked the magic question: are you a travel agent?
Wow.
And
Let's spark that. Wow.
Yes.
Let's spark
And
that spark for you. And you were like,
yes,
I'm not, but I'm also not happy.
exactly. So when she explained to me the benefits of booking as a travel agent, I said, don't book me yet.
That's it.
Give me some time.
That's right. That's right. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So you started out as a social worker, and then you decided to become a travel agent. And so now you're a travel agent. What are some of the barriers that are in that field? Like, is that a field that's, just very easy, or were there some barriers when you first entered the field? And then want to talk a little bit, because I know you've been extremely successful. In fact, full disclosure, Victoria's actually planned a few of my trips. Just want to talk a little bit about now. First we want to do the barriers, and we talk about some best practices and big ideas. So talk about the barriers that are in the travel industry. I mean, COVID kind of really shut you down. People weren't traveling, and I know that was a stressful time. And then post-COVID was also very stressful because travel was very different, right? So talk to us a little bit about those barriers.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that as a barrier because I do need to let you know, yes, people were traveling. It was a beautiful thing because although travel shut down, it didn't shut down everywhere at the same time. And the method didn't shut down. So while we were here in New York and we weren't able to travel, I had customers from other states that were still booking from me. And when the flight shut down, people were renting cars and they were driving cross country.
Wow.
When the cruises shut down, the flights, so it was a blessing. That is a serious blessing about having a global business, because what is happening in your location might not be what's happening everywhere. So I was blessed to be able to have customers from all over. One of the biggest challenges that I get, unfortunately, is people who, when they first meet me, don't realize the awesomeness of Passionate Travel Inc.
Right.
I said maybe I needed to come up with a more serious name, but I wanted to know that let people know life is short, live passionately.
Yeah,
But when people call me that first time, you know, they're thinking that they're going to get bargain basement prices and, oh, well, this is not really a travel business, so I figure I can get my trip at this price. And I say, no, my business is powered by Priceline.
that's right.
You know, when I'm booking, you're getting everything that you would get on that Priceline site. So a
Right.
lot of times people see a black woman, you know, with incorporation. So that's why I make such a big deal. Like, no, put ink. And I have to tell people, yes, I really am incorporated.
That's
And
right.
but once they interact with me and deal with me, they say, oh, okay, and oh, you did so much more for me. I say, yeah, because unfortunately, that's what I have to do to earn the business. I
That's
got to
right.
go over and beyond so people will take me seriously. And once they do, you're able to have a customer for years.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I had the pleasure of understanding that firsthand. I know I went on a birthday trip. Me and my friend, we were celebrating our birthdays together, and she and I went on a trip. And we called you up, and you gave us a awesome hotel. And that hotel included like a concierge that kind of
Mhm.
walked us through. It was a
Yes.
great experience, and so I didn't know prior to that that I could just ask for someone to kind of accompany me through the whole trip, and they did, and everything was great.
Yes.
So, that's the kind of experience that you'll get with Passionate Travel Inc. Through Victoria. She's very passionate about her brand, very passionate about her business. And this is just one of the things that I want to add to all of those that are listening, that you have to really be serious about your business for other people to be serious
Yes.
about your business. And so one of the nuggets that she gave two actually. One is self-care, right? Making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, making sure that we're enjoying life, right? And then the second one, of course, is to be serious about your business, and to understand your client is the one that can pay your prices, right? So your customer, if someone says, "Well, I can't afford that," then that's not your customer. And I thank you very much for
Right.
engaging me in this podcast, and
Yes.
don't feel a ways about it, because you have to really know your worth, especially in the travel business, right? So many
Yes.
people think that they can get on and be an instant travel agent. But again, the difference in that and what Victoria does is experience, right? I could get on and get a flight and get a hotel, but I wouldn't know to ask for a concierge. I wouldn't know to ask for special treatments to upgrade my room based on her relationships with the hotels and the travel agencies and stuff like that. So
Yes.
I just want to thank you so much for sharing that experience with me. So talk to me about a little bit of the barriers. I mean, are the barrier? I know one of the barriers, of course, is the price, right? Like I said, everyone feels like they can go on to bookings.com and
Mhm.
like,
Right.
and
Exactly. Yes,
have a
yes.
bad experience. So like, how would you do
Yeah, well, definitely. You know, and people call me after one of the other websites
that?
has did them wrong.
That's right.
And
That's
it's,
right.
and it's like, oh, Victoria, I need you to help me. I'm like, oh, what you want me to book? No, no, no. I need you to help me get my money back. I need you to help
Oh,
me. I need you to help me speak to this person. I said, no, if they took your money, I can't help you. I'm not the agent on that trip,
that's right.
right?
That's right. That's right.
So they don't realize, like, as the travel agent, I'm not just booking that trip. I'm fighting for you.
That's right.
It's
You're
like I'm
the
your
advocate.
travel. Yes, it's like I'm your travel advocate. I have a customer of mine. She's a longtime customer. She flew recently. The airline canceled her flight until the next day
Oh,
and refused to give her a voucher
oh,
for a hotel stay. So I said, no, 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 no.
that's not
I
acceptable.
I wrote the I wrote the airline a very nice letter and explained to them that they will refund her flight, give her a hotel voucher for the next time she travel, and give her the money that she missed from a day's work
Right.
because she was sitting waiting for the next flight. So the average person doesn't realize that. There have been times I have been in the airport and the flight is delayed, and I'll tell them, I said, okay, I need my snacks now. And I and I have somebody standing next to me like, I'm so hungry. I wish I could have cookies. I said, but you can. I'm like, bring the cart back. Give the lady some cookies. So it's those little things.
That's
And
right.
it's very important because I've never had to sleep in the airport. And when I walk through the airport and I see people sleeping on the benches because the flight was delayed, it hurts my heart because I said they don't realize that the airline is supposed to give them a voucher
That's
so
right.
that they can get a hotel. So it's these things that the average person does not know that we are aware of.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I think that that also adds a lot of value to what you do, right? So you're
Yes,
advocating for them, but you also understand the language and the lingo, and you also
yes,
have relationships with the airlines and with the hotels, because
yes,
it's a business, right? So you're making sure that you are getting the best value for your customer. And I always say to individuals that travel, you get what you pay for, right? So, if
exactly.
you don't want to pay the cost to sort of be the boss, then that's going to be on you. One of the other experiences that I realized I needed a travel agent was right here in the United States in Disneyland. I didn't know
Mm,
that I can get a concierge in Disneyland. So here I am spending most of my Disney trip standing in lines and then realize
right.
that I could get escorted to the front of the line and
Yes, you
me and my
can.
children can have all these special perks. And so again, a travel agent informed me that these are some things that you can get with this service, including, vouchers for the bus and the train, wherever, whatever transportation mode I'm using. Like you're able to get those things. But again, that's because the travel agent is working with these particular agencies on a regular basis. And they develop these relationships. So one of the things that I'm going to add, Victoria said it, but I want to make sure that I'm going to reiterate it, is that relationships matter, right? And so when you're in your business, whatever industry or field you're in, understand who else is in that business that can make your business run a little smoother, right? So these are some of the best
Right.
practices that Victoria or is talking about. And make sure you understand who's in that field. Make sure that you understand, how to tap into them, and in a relatively short period of time, any day, any time of day, any time of night, because that also matters, right? So if I'm in my on
Yeah.
my flight and my flight gets delayed in the middle of the night, my travel agent is going to advocate for me, right? I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about, trying to find someone to talk to at the airlines when I'm tired and frustrated because me and my 5-year-old is hanging out a lot
Mhm.
in airlines on a bench, right? Calling them a
Yeah.
is important. So make sure you
No,
understand
definitely.
what you pay for. And those are some of the best practices that Victoria is using because she is passionate about Travel Inc. And she is passionate about her clients, her customers, and even her future customers. And so that's why I brought you on today, Victoria, to talk about some of that. So tell me a little bit about, we talked about some barriers. And again, everybody that has a smartphone and computer believe that they can do this and do this. Well, you're telling us today the importance and the value of having a travel agent on
And
your team that can do this. Talk to us a little bit more about some of the things that you've experienced during this time running Passionate Traveling.
well, I mean, you just nailed it when you talk about having the relationship. See, as the travel agent, we are the middle ground between the customer and the travel supplier. The
Mhm.
travel supplier sees us as their partner
That's right.
in getting the clients. So I've had my own personal experiences. Well, just one, right? Because once they realized, and it was pretty scary. There was a time that I had to fly from New York to
Mhm.
get to Miami because I was speaking at a conference. I was hosting a trade mission on a cruise ship. And for whatever reason, I don't know, the young lady at the desk, she chose me. Like I was going to be the person that she was going to mess with that day. So I'm rushing to get on the flight. And I can see the plane right behind her. And she's like, your flight is gone.
Ah,
I'm like, I said, no, the plane is right there.
ah,
She says, no, no, no. She says, the flight is gone.
ah.
I said, Miss, you don't understand. I'm hosting a global trade mission. Like, I'm not just hanging out, going to vacation. People are waiting for me to speak, right? I got government from the Bahamas, all these things. She looks at me and she says, you are just one person.
Oh,
I don't have to help you. And I
you let
stood
that come out of
there.
her mouth?
Yes. And I stood there. And right before the tears were about to fall, I said, wait a minute. I am one person who happens to be a part of a global travel network.
Right.
Picked up my phone. Hello, this is Victoria Falk, agent number 1347934. And I'm in the airport and this is what's happening to me. And they're
Right.
like, whoa, right? And then I was on social media and all the different agents in my network were asking, what is this airline doing to our business partner? Within about 15 minutes after she said that and I finished performing, they had found a first class seat
Oh,
on a flight. They weren't able to find a flight to Miami in time. They found a first class seat to Fort Lauderdale. Had somebody drive me from
that's
Fort
right.
Lauderdale to Miami to cruise port. And I looked at the lady and I smiled and I said, it would have been a lot easier for you to just let me get on my plane, right? But now the thing is, even though it all worked out for me, that situation made me feel so sad because I said, how many other people has she done this to?
That's right.
Right. Fortunately, I wasn't just somebody that was going to take that, but I said, how many other people go through this? Like,
That's
she
right.
just pick me, you know? But so that's the thing. You have
It's also unfortunate for people to be in that role and in that job
yeah.
and make a determination about people's lives and their travel plans and the significance and the insignificance of it. I think that that's the sad part.
Yes.
That's what I get.
Yes. Yes. And we have yes. And so many people are traveling for business now. So many people that, when you have somebody miss a flight, they are missing income.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely right. It's unfortunate. I should have had you last week when I went to the Congressional Black Caucus, but I gotta say, when I was working for the SBA and the Obama administration, I was up in the air like 135 times, never missed a flight, always been very, very good. But you have to understand, I didn't have a 5-year-old at the time. But we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna talk about that. But what we are gonna say is, I was a little rusty going to Congressional Black Caucus because I hadn't been in a while, post COVID. And I literally got to my flight. And I would have been able to get on my flight had I downloaded the Delta app and did all these other things that I usually do because I have Clear and I have TSA and I have all that, right? But I ended up going to a different parking retailer because I parked my car. And so people don't have to pick me up and all those other things. And they only had this one in the area of LaGuardia that was available. And so I went there and it was just such a song and dance with this guy. He really didn't understand what he was doing. And it cost me 20 minutes where I would have been on my flight. So then when I got to DC, I ended up missing that 6 a.m. flight. But the one thing that I also understand about travel is you get the earliest one out because then there's usually a few behind it. I didn't have to speak until the next day. And so I was fine. But I felt a little off. I was like, I never miss flights. Like, how did this happen? But there was a couple of things that I didn't do that I always do. I always download the app. I always have a paper copy plus the downloadable, plus it in my wallet, right? But that I came and I didn't even have that. And when I went to check in, they were like, you didn't check in. Like, we could have gotten you upstairs if you would have checked in, right?
Yes, yes. I'm listening to you and I'm cringing because I'm saying to myself, advanced check-in. You always want to do your advanced check-in the day before your flight because of that. Because what happens is if you're running late, sometimes they'll feel sorry for you and want to let you on the plane, but your name has to be in the system.
That's right.
So when you do the advanced check-in, it gets you into that system.
That's
but
right.
it's so many different things. And like we said earlier, anybody could go on the site and book something, but we don't know when a lot of people are looking for the best price and they go and this hotel is the cheapest, I'll get this one. Not realizing that that lowest price room is non-refundable.
That's right.
And if you go to change it, you're going to lose up all your money. It's better to pay, the little extra
That's right.
right?
That's right. So
So
we got to take a commercial break right now. We're getting ready to get deep into this because travel. I'm passionate. She's traveling. She's passionate about travel, and I'm passionate about traveling. We got to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Deli and Plaza East Online. We are your local hometown supermarket for all your grocery shopping needs. You now have the convenience of grocery shopping online, saving you time and money. Freeing up your time spent in a grocery store, giving you more time for yourself as well as your family. Just simply fill out the online form or give us a call and we will process your order for pickup or delivery. Thank you for shopping at Seaside Market in Delhi and Plaza East Online.
You're too damn important to be drinking trash. This is V Plus Energy, one of the healthiest energy drinks in the world. 5 fruits, 5 vegetables, 5 vitamins. The other brands just won't tell you what they put in their drink, and that's scary. V Plus is natural recurring energy with great taste.
Today we're taking a little vacation on the west end of St. Croix, visiting a seaside restaurant called the Beachside Cafe here at Sandcastles on the Beach.
The atmosphere is just wonderful.
You just feel very welcome when you're here.
Hi! I'd like to introduce Chris and Ted, who are the owners of Beachside Cafe and also Sandcastles on the Beach. This is amazing!
Thank you.
Sandcastle on the Beach is quiet and friendly, relaxing.
I often entertain guests, and this is the one place I always try to bring people.
Tell us a little bit about the hotel.
Well, the hotel is a 25-room hotel. We have 10 different room types within that. We also have, of course, our greatest asset, the ocean out there, which our side of the island is very calm typically. So it's the best swimming beach and also great for snorkeling.
And just walking, doing a nice walking beach tour.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Best beach access is right here, so we love them.
And we're also fortunate we have just up the way Sandy Point National Park, and then Frederickstead Town is just a mile away. Mm-hmm. And so we're really fortunate to be in this perfect spot.
I used to watch BET, MTV, VH1, now I watch Tempo. Soca, Calypso, Reggae Dancehall. Don't stall, better get tuned in to the tempo. Don't have cable, they got an app. Go to your app store, download that. Whether it's tourism, cuisine, or the social scenes, if it ain't Tempo, it's a rap. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. It's the latest in Caribbean news. Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. It's the latest in Caribbean news. Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo.
ATL runs on V Plus Energy. We love our home and our people. We at V Plus made it our mission to provide healthy energy to our city, so that's what we did, and you all love it. 5 fruits, 5 vegetables, 5 vitamins, it's healthy, tasty energy. But don't just take my word. Listen for yourself.
Man, I found a lot of energy drinks. Tastes good, that's one of the biggest things. Refreshing and it's not too strong, so I like it, man.
People, it's Alexander Aperture, the Commercial King, and check this out, man. We're here with V Plus Energy. Look, you try to get your energy up. You out here at a competition like this, man, field day. You're gonna need something to get a little extra kick with. Make sure you get that V Plus Energy. Yeah.
Hey, what's up? It's Clay Johnson Russian, and we are checking in with the V Plus Energy drink. This drink is amazing. I love that it don't give you the jitters. Fried it, so check it out. The drink is very good. I like the peach flavor. And so far, I'm trying to see if the energy kicks in.
I guess that energy kicked in. Now it's time to get you some. Visit drinkvplus.com.
We got one leg, so we not gon'
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the Coaxum Report. This is Terry Coaxum, and I have Victoria Folk on, and we're talking about Passionate Travel Inc., Victoria's company. And so before we took our quick commercial break, Victoria started off by really talking about some of the barriers with her business, and really what I thought was a barrier with COVID actually ended up being a blessing as well as, you know, an opportunity for Victoria to stand out and in the crowd as opposed to being a barrier. But some of the barriers do exist for a travel business, and some of them are the opportunities for individuals to go online and to get pricing and to come to a person like Victoria, who's an expert, who's really doing this every day, and expect for them to have basement pricing with a luxury experience. And so Victoria has been talking a little bit about that, but even prior to that, we talked about self-care. So all of the small business owners, anyone that's listening to us, I encourage you to put yourself first. I mean, you know, Victoria is an
ICABA, ICABA, stands for the International Career and Business Alliance. And basically, it's really about building, activating relationships that grow well.
What is ACABA doing? ACABA is putting you in an environment where you can rub shoulders, you can actually talk to wealth creators, to entrepreneurs who may look like you, who may come from circumstances like you, who may come from an environment like your environment. And then once you go ahead and grab that baton, you might say, well, this is possible. This individual over here did it, and now I can do it. So ICABA is raising our level of vision, and they're doing a fantastic.
Follow the Brand TV broadcast host, Grant McGaw, as he visits with top executives and entrepreneurs to find out their secrets of success with their personal brand. Follow the Brand TV broadcast host as he focuses on brand development to build better relationships, bring value to your business, relationships, and career. You will enjoy listening to each episode that is tailored to speak to you directly. If you're looking for this type of clarity in terms of building your brand, you have tuned into the right station. Each episode will help you to shape a conversation in the 5-star BDM network of 20,000 professionals and become a springboard for your corporate engagement and business opportunities. Each guest will frame their story in the areas of personal branding, business development, career development, financial empowerment, and technology innovation. Grant McGaw explains why he is the CEO and owner of his own professional career. Grant is an accomplished business leader and entrepreneur who wants to give back to individuals to grow their personal brand strategy. Tune in as he weaves his story about new possibilities, while to you exceed expectations. If you love storytelling, this show will make for fun.
Time. It has a different meaning in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It goes backwards, forwards, it stops. St. Croix is rooted in history. So much of it still remains untouched.
I remember running on these streets as a kid. This shop was right down there. It opened the same year I was born. This is where the original Crucian hook was born. It's the symbol of these islands. And I wanted to have my hands in that very same history. I want to be able to pass it down to my family while still putting a new spin on it.
The U.S. Virgin Islands, we have an amazing culture that developed over time from all over the world.
St. John feels so untouched. Being underwater is like another world. There's no worries, there's no stress. I can just escape. This is my happy place. My passion for scuba diving came at just being fascinated with the water and wanting to be a mermaid. And this is the closest thing I can get to achieving mermaid status. Canadians just love being outdoorsy. We live for adventure, so we love anything hiking, being on the water, diving, snorkeling, and St. John has it all.
It's like some spirit is protecting the island and keeping them raw. The Makujumbi watches over the island. From up there, they keep the evil spirits away. The nightlife in St. Thomas is absolutely amazing. There's always something going on. Everyone comes together to dance and catch a vibe. We're always celebrating. We celebrate freedom, culture, the food, the smell, the music. It's always a celebration. The people here are probably the most priceless thing because they keep the culture going. There's so many different influences on these islands. Food from all kind of countries coming together in new dishes. All of us came from somewhere, but all that we call this home. The VI is a new melting pot. This is where the past and the future comes together.
Get up and get going with V Plus Energy. Challenge yourself and your friends to get up every day and get going. Grab your favorite V Plus flavor and tackle the day. Get excited and get energized with V Plus. It's made with 100% real fruits and veggies. There's no way you could crash, unlike other traditional energy drinks that you don't know what the hell is in there. Chemicals and other unpronounceable ingredients that you wouldn't give to your mama. Get V Plus. Healthy energy with none of the sacrifice. Get going at drinkvplus.com.
Metro New York's port services are currently constrained and challenged in facilitating the handling of international cargo. It's time for a whole new ballgame. Just 55 miles north of the city, Stewart Airport, closed during the base realignment, is an underutilized resource that could be maximized and bring growth to the area and relieve New York City. It's an ideal place for a thriving supply chain center of regional excellence, called SCORE. We intend to support the New York and New Jersey Port Authority's commitment to the New York International Plaza, putting it at the forefront of a transformation of regional global trade, telecommunications, and economic growth. A logistics-based regenerative smart city that supplies an interactive platform of data and document interoperability to optimize resources. SCORE will transform this location into a thriving hub that can process and distribute cargo via various methods of transportation, elevating it to one of the world's best intermodal ports. We aim to build a cybersecure network operations center that enables customers to share data in real time across the supply chain and across the whole region, utilizing eco-friendly practices to keep things running efficiently. And it doesn't stop there. Not only will SCORE develop high-speed wireless networks in a data-driven city to improve logistics and facilitate international trade, it will also create critical infrastructure for regional economic development. By optimizing the business environment, attracting startups and investment, supporting the development of high-value industries such as medical, education, technology, and hospitality, creating new employment opportunities for the region. SCORE will inject vibrancy and inspire prosperity in an underutilized area to develop a greener and more livable smart city that thrives, bringing excellence to the Hudson Valley. It's a game changer. Visit IC Logistics to learn how you can support this SCORE Economic Development Initiative at Stewart Airport.
The acceleration of already high food, fertilizer, and fuel prices has triggered a global crisis that could drive millions more into extreme poverty, magnifying hunger and malnutrition, while threatening to raise the global humanitarian caseload to new highs and erase hard-won development gains.
Food pricing is our number one problem right now as a result of all this perfect storm for 2022. But 2023, it very well will be a food availability problem.
What's the one thing that we all have in common? It's food. We need it, we enjoy it, and it brings us together. But right now, accessing affordable and nutritious food is becoming more and more difficult around the world. We've found ourselves living in a global food crisis.
Millions upon millions of people, in fact, 345 million people today, are suffering from hunger at a crisis level.
Since early 2022, we at WFP already warned that this would be a year of unprecedented hunger. The pandemic's economic consequences play a huge part in hunger rising to unprecedented levels. At the same time, climate shocks continue to destroy lives, crops, and livelihoods, and undermine people's ability to feed themselves. Meanwhile, conflict keeps waging war on everyday life. As the biggest driver of hunger, currently 60% of the world's hungry live in areas afflicted by violence. In Ukraine, the war has transformed what was the breadbasket of the world into a major humanitarian aid recipient. Before the war began, Ukraine produced enough food to feed 400 million people per year. But when the war started, Ukraine's food exports all but stopped, trapping corn and wheat inside the country.
You know what is really interesting is that our markets for exporting food are highly concentrated. What that means is that less than 10 countries export 80-90% of total exports of crops like wheat, corn, rice, soybean. So when any shock happens to one of these 10 countries or less, we see a disproportionate effect around the world.
It's likely you're already feeling the impact of the crisis, whether that's seeing higher food prices during your weekly shop or finding limited supplies in the supermarket.
Before the war in Ukraine started, prices of food commodities were already at a 10-year high. Prices of fuel commodities were already at a 7-year high. And now on top of that, because of the war, things were not moving as they were supposed to out of the Black Sea. And this is troublesome, not only for the poor countries, but also for rich countries. Look at the United States, 8.5% inflation hasn't happened in decades. Look at UK, 10.1%. So if our advanced economies are suffering as they are, what to talk of poor net food and fuel importing countries?
When it comes to the world's most vulnerable, the cost of the global food crisis will be counted in lives lost.
Almost every country in the Middle East and North Africa region have been hard hit by the war in Ukraine. This is a region that's highly dependent on food imports, and especially on the imports of grain from Ukraine and from Russia. 30% and more of the grain that comes to this region comes from Ukraine and Russia because of the geographical proximity. There are many countries in the region who have had a big burden in terms of food prices because of the conflict in Ukraine. To give you an example, a country like Syria, food prices have increased by 37% from February till April, and that's since the onset of the conflict.
Even before the global food crisis, some families were already living on the edge.
ما كانت ظروفنا هيك أبدا. كنت أعمل مكبوس، كنت أعمل زيتون، كانت الأسعار معقولة يعني. الوضع أسوأ لأنه الأسعار كل ما عم ترتفع. يعني ربطة الخبز اللي هي ربطة خبز الشيء الأساسي بالبيت سعرها تغير. هلا كتير شغلات نحن حارمين حالنا منها، مثلا الفواكه ممنوعة، تفتحي بالرادي فاضي مصفر. هلا ليجي صغير من المدرسة نتغدى وراحت للمساء ليجي بيو من الشغل لحتى نتعشى. وجبتين بنها.
The global food crisis we're facing is being worsened by the energy crisis and the fertilizer crisis that are also occurring, leaving millions of people at risk of hunger and unable to afford a basic meal.
What we don't want for sure is that today's affordability crisis turns into or becomes tomorrow's availability crisis. What I mean by that is that today, if you have money, you can buy food. But if you don't sort out a few things right now, tomorrow, even if you have money, it won't be enough to buy food. What are those things to sort out? We need to make sure that the next agricultural season is a good one. That requires agricultural inputs, especially fertilizer. And if that doesn't happen, our affordability crisis, which is bad enough as we can see around the world, turns into an availability crisis, meaning that food will be even less affordable for millions upon millions of people around the world. I like to say that when WFP is setting records. That doesn't sound great for the world. In 2020, we assisted about 116 million people. In 2021, we assisted about 128 million people. That's the highest in our 60-year history. And guess what? This year, we're planning to assist between 140 to 150 million people. But in order for that to happen, WFP needs funding because we are voluntarily funded. And two, we always need access. And when we have both of them, we can do the job.
Right now, WFP's response focuses on 3 key things: providing emergency food and cash assistance and nutrition support to prevent millions from dying of hunger, supporting national social protection systems, and strengthening food systems. It's clear we all need to work together and fast in the face of today's global food crisis.